Well, where to start? How did you come up with the story for this, first off?
This is not autobiographical. It's emotionally based on losing my mom several years back, but this did not happen in real life. None of the events, other than sibling discord. So I just wanted to let you know that. It's based sort of on how sorting out my family dynamic after my mother passed away a few years ago from cervical cancer, and how the dynamic between my brother and me changed, and how the family kind of changed. And thinking more about, that I had lost a mom, but looking around me at all the other people who were grieving, and knowing that, my uncle had lost a sister, and, her friends had lost a good friend, and just thinking that I could never know everything about her, and sort of wanting to explore that idea about, these multiple dimensions of a person, just kind of explore.
The chemistry with all the actors is really strong, and I wondered if you can talk about directing the cast, and then maybe for the cast, if you have any experiences that you want to share with the audience.
I don't even know where to begin with that. Casting well makes you look better as a director, so that should be one of the most important things that you do. I'm just really lucky that I've worked with most of the people on the team on my short films, especially Joe May, but also Tiana Paris, and I did a short a couple years ago, which I think played here as well. So we all kind of know each other from the New York theater world through either sort of first degree or second degree kind of connections. So, I'm just really blessed.
I think I was the only one who didn't know you, right?
Maybe.
And it was only because I got the script, because Joe May, manager, is also my manager. He read it and he said, well, everyone keeps saying that Joe May is a young you. And I was like, are you kidding me? And there's this part for her mother. And I read the script and I just thought it was such a great Asian American, Chinese American story that was modern, And I mean, we never really think of our parents having sex, right? I was like, oh my God! But I thought that was such a great thing, right? You don't think that. And so JP just offered it to me after I read it, and I was like, well, okay. Wait a second, how much are we going to see here?
And Joe May, you and JP have made a lot of films together, and it seems like such a great team that you guys starring and directing. Can you guys talk about your relationship or your dynamic together?
I'm glad you weren't on set with us. Yeah, JP and I have worked together for a long time now.
Yes.
Starting with shorts, this is our first feature, and I'm very lucky that he allows me input into the script and into casting and into offset arguments and all of that. I don't know, I guess it's very hard when you're working with such a low budget. Everybody is putting in, really everybody's doing it for the love and for creating something together. And it's so great when there are shortcuts in conversation. Because of our history, we just have so many shortcuts and just some things we don't really even have to discuss too much, that just falls into place. And Jodie's not talking about how legendary she is in the New York theater world and in the Asian American performing world, really. So when I got out of school, people said, you look like a young Jodie Long. Do you know who she is? And of course, I was like, I know who Jodie Long is. So when there was a part for the mother, I was hoping she would say yes. And we're so lucky that she did. And of course, Tiana and I, we went to school together, so we have lots of shorthands in our communication.
Any questions from the audience for cast and crew? Yes.
I just want to say I lost my mother a few years back too, and this resonated like you do not believe. So,
Thank you.
Any questions? Yes.
Could you talk about why the sister and brother didn't get along? Did it matter? Or was there a backstory just in your own mind?
Well, there's absolutely a backstory I just think there are so many things in a family that just, because of time or because something that happened some years ago, that somehow siblings or people who are supposed to be closest to you just suddenly don't get along. And it takes something drastic happening, unfortunately, for you to re-examine your relationship and to really value what is already built in, hopefully, and you can have an opportunity to sort of resurrect that. I think that's, well, tell them what you were thinking.
Yeah, I think those are all valid. I mean, all of us with siblings know how complex that dynamic can be, and sort of wanting to sort of explore, well, what if that dynamic changes? You know, like, you know, if mom is the glue of the family, what happens when the glue of the family is gone? Are you still a family? Do you want to still be a family? Because, you know, right, there's that idea that you spend a good chunk of your life sort of dealing with the family that you're born into, and then, you know, the later chunk sort of with the family that you chose, you know, and you grew into. So, yeah, I think all those things are there.
Yeah, me. The music. I really enjoyed the music. Can you talk about working with JP and making music for this film?
It was actually a huge challenge for me. I've always made music for myself, and it's always been a very selfish thing for me, and I think it was a great challenge to do something for picture, and it was difficult, and but I learned a lot from it, so I'm very happy I did it.
Any other questions from the audience? Yeah.
I'm interested in like the production process, like how long was like pre-production, production, and then also into post, like how was that journey? How long was everything?
Much longer than we expected. The film I started writing it in summer of 2011. We shot it in summer of 2012, and then I spent 13 months in the edit. I have a full-time day job, so I didn't realize how much balancing the 9 to 5 and this would take. So it was a hard 13 months of editing, especially when our expectation was, oh, this is going to take 3 months to edit, because other people's movies take 3 months to edit. But then you realize, oh, those other people have a whole team, working on it for 3 months straight. So, it was me, going to my day job and then coming home at night in the later stages of the edit with Joe, and just like sitting in my living room, with Final Cut Pro, trying to, craft the movie. And sometimes it'd be 5 hours of a night of like us arguing, and like at the end of the night we'd have done 1 minute of footage, So.
And how long? How much longer did it take? How many versions did you have? What's this version?
This version is 32E. I think it speaks for itself.
Any other questions from the audience?
Was there a 32A?
Yes, there was. We picture locked at 32, so it's been since our premiere at Bend Film Festival in October. There have been subsequent more sound and picture tweaks. So I didn't want to increment the number anymore, so I just gave them letters. This is E.
Yeah.
How did you put together those snapshots of Jody?
I'll tell you anything about the movie except anything about those photos.
We had many discussions about how that was going to be shot.
Thank you for your question.
I thought it was interesting the way the film touches on traditional Asian filial piety and issues around generational gaps, but I'm wondering what sort of intentionality or conversations took place about how much of that to include versus just sort of personal experience, making it universal versus making it distinctively Asian or Asian American.
I personally didn't think much about making it Asian American. I just tried to be sort of truthful to my own sort of experience. So this kind of the racial stuff that you hear is kind of very much like, when Joe and I go out to rural Pennsylvania where we shot this, and all of a sudden there's no people of color anymore, and then, like the racial paranoia you get a little bit. So, and, you know, and kind of being defined and being self-conscious, because we lived in New York City, so it's, you know, going through that. So there wasn't anything over it. It was just sort of, it just kind of seeped up in the story.
But isn't that what's great about this particular story? Is that they just happen to be Asian American, and it's in there, but it's not like we're banging it on the head. And I think in terms of being modern and going forward, the next phase of Asian American filmmaking, it should just be there. And yet we're still telling our stories. Because you do get a little of that piety, the filial piety, and you get all the other stuff in it too. I mean, that's where we are, really, as a people. We're here. You know, we're Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think the fact that we are Asians on film makes an Asian American film. Like, even if we wanted to pretend to be anything other than Asian, we couldn't. And so, and in that way, we didn't need to address it in the other way, in the way that, except when, if you talk about it with your friends, you're like, oh, we're Asians, we love noodles. You know, like, ha ha ha, isn't that funny? But I think that's what it is. We don't have to talk about, oh, my best friend happens to be black. Well, that is kind of how it works in life.
And yet she's the only black person in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. I'm going to get out of the way.
So,
Any last questions? Yeah.
Well, actually, the storyline is very universal at this point, and for all the baby boomers aging, this is going to be something that everyone will be faced. And I mean, I went through my parents passed away too, but it wasn't exciting as what that little vignette you guys had. My daughter Laura Ball was helping you guys out.
Oh,
so.
we love Laura.
So it's
We love Laura
nice
Bong.
to see you guys.
Thank you for having her.
I think all the time we have. Do you want to say anything, or Yasmin?
Can I do a really quick plug? I'm so sorry, I have to go into salesman mode for a second. One is, we are a tiny indie movie, and we took, frankly, I have to say, a risk by having Asians in the leads, right, in a not particularly Asian kind of story. But we made this, it came from our hearts, and we hope it goes to yours. You are our core audience. A movie like this, where we are very indie, we have no money for marketing or distribution, but we're going to do our best to try to get it out to people, and hopefully it will resonate with people. And so we hope if you like the movie, we are selling a DVD, which you can buy from one of our lovely people. They're $20 each, and we will autograph them. And they have awesome outtakes and behind the scenes to this movie, which you're not going to see anywhere else. We are also announcing
Those other pictures.
Maybe. We also have, we are doing a special pre-order digital download also, so you can actually get that online at apictureofyou.vhx.tv for $15, and that also gives you the behind the scenes and the outtakes right away. But if you dig what we do, please sign our mailing list, and please tell like a gajillion people about us, because you're our marketing budget right here.
And
we have no other way.
Other screening.
Oh, I'm sorry. And we play on Wednesday, so we would love to see you again on Wednesday.
Or your friends.
Or your friends. Or you and your friends. And we're all hanging out afterwards, so please let's hang out in the lounge and come talk to us.
And if you wanted to win the audience award on the way out, pick Tara Ballot.
Yes. Which number is the high one? 5.
All right, well, thank you to the cast and crew. Thanks for coming out.